Latest stats are that they are down now 17% in sales. Their sales fell 17% in the week ended April 15th compared to the same week in 2022, 17. And they are down 21% in pours. The so-called beer board, which is a thing, actually tracks some 3,000 locations. And these locations tracked that the 6% less Bud Light being poured than rivals like Miller Lite and Coors. Well, you might think, oh, it's only 6%. No, because prior to this whole dust up, Bud Light had been getting poured 15% more than its rival light beers. So it fell 21%. So it's down 21% in its pours. It's down 17% in just sales that, like you're going to get a Bud Light in the supermarket. And the sales of rival beers, Coors Light and Miller Lite, each grew nearly 18% compared to the same week a year earlier. This is post the leave of absence of Alissa Heinerscheid, the VP of marketing who made this decision, and her boss, who's also placed on a leave of absence, showing us what?
Oh, man. I would love to think that this is going to be a long-term consequence, that they're really going to reap the whirlwind here. And I'm glad to see. I do think that the boycott is important. I think that it's made a good impact. I think that it's at least communicated some type of message to corporate America. Now, whether it is going to stick, I would say it's very skeptical. This leave of absence, as I've seen other people say, was probably just a shuffling around. She's either going to stay at Bud Light, she's going to go to another company, she's going to have equal impact and influence there. I mean, I think it's good that Bud Light responded in some way. They realized, okay, we kind of missed the mark, but ultimately these companies, Bud Light, just like these other big corporations, they care about their ESG score. They care about the score that is coming to them from the Human Rights Campaign, which is a total gimmick, which basically says you have to, reach all of these arbitrary standards that we call equality standards, and we'll give you 100%. Bud Light really cares about that. That's why they push Pride. That's why they picked Dylan Mulvaney. And ultimately, what we're seeing is that a lot of these companies care more about that than their customers. It's not that they misread their base. It's not that they didn't know that they are the beer of frat parties in, Georgia and Alabama. They knew that. This marketing person said, I know that. I don't like that. These companies don't like when their buyers, when their market is made up of conservative Americans. It's not that
You know what? Yeah, I totally agree with them. I totally agree. The thing is, back a few weeks ago when this first really became news, I did a video on this, and I said in the video that, she went the wrong way with this. And Alissa Heinerscheid, I think her name is, she said in one video that I found that she was able to influence older men. They look to her for answers. And I said in my video, they're going to curse the day they ever look to you for answers. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next week, but they're going to curse the day. And of course, it came pretty quick. And they did. And of course, they let Alissa go. She's gone. They let her boss go. But I was told, man, in the video, in the comments, that what do I know? She's Harvard educated, woman. I don't know, half as much as she does. I ought to keep my mouth shut and all this other stuff. And we see who's right. And again, man, it's not about being right. It really isn't. It's about understanding what's happening. And, one guy told me, he said, Grandpa, I call me Grandpa because of my white beard, I guess. And he said, I'm not that old. But he said, Grandpa, go back to the old folks' home. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't. Well, guess what? Apparently I do. Apparently I understand human nature a little bit. And again, man, I'm not that smart. I don't have a degree from Harvard or anything else. And I never cared about that kind of stuff. I do have a degree. I did go to college, but not from Harvard. And, things are, I don't value that the way that they do. I don't look up to that. And I understand that you don't isolate your base. You don't offend the people that actually buy your product. You don't do that. I don't care how much better you think you are than them. You don't do that. You don't act that way. And then you definitely don't put people up there like Dylan Mulvaney or whatever his name is. You don't put him up there on a pedestal to be the spokesperson for a product when the base, your people that buy your product, don't agree with that person's lifestyle. They don't agree. But again, you have such hatred within your heart to where you can't see because you're blinded by hatred towards the people that actually buy your beer. It's crazy. You hate the people. You hate the guys out there working on their cars, watching a baseball game, watching a football game, whatever, with the beer. You hate those guys. You don't like them. What did you say, the frat boy image or whatever? You wanted to get rid of that. So you hate the everyday American guy. You hate them. And you want to, make your beer more highbrow, more, no, I mean, you're screwing up. You're screwing up big time. And again, we're seeing that now, how much have they lost now in market value? Up $8 billion. I mean, it's crazy. But again, go woke, go broke.
I mean, this is the craziest part of all of it, that I guess they thought that choosing Dylan Mulvaney would either carve out a new part of the marketplace of progressive Gen Zers, or that they would eventually change the minds of their conservative buyers. Obviously, it didn't work, so I, have a positive reaction because of that. Ultimately, they're going to go back to it, though. Eventually, they're going to pick the next trans influencer to drink their beer, and I don't think they'll ultimately have learned their lesson.
I don't know. I think this one worked, and I think it's going to stay low because they changed the perception of their brand. It's not cool to drink Bud Light. I wouldn't order a Bud Light at a Giants game. Most of the men I know would not order a Bud Light at a Giants game. And it's not because they hate trans people. It's because it's an FU to Bud Light and their belief that their audience is disgusting and deplorable and too fratty.
Right.
And it's also the fact that they picked this particular trans person who I don't really even know whether Dylan Mulvaney is genuinely a trans woman at all. I really have my doubts. I think this person is glomming on to the trans movement for attention, which I don't think is the case for Caitlyn Jenner. I think Bruce Jenner was genuinely gender dysphoric and transitioned to Caitlyn because it was something that Bruce had been separating or suffering from for years. That's not the case from what I can see with Dylan Mulvaney. My team went back and pulled some videos of Dylan trying desperately, Allie Beth, to get attention as a man, okay? For years now, trying desperately to get attention as a man. I'm going to start in reverse order. Here's Dylan performing on stage 5 years ago. He got called up on stage. I don't know what the performance was. Look at this. It's just video. If you are listening to this, you really must go check out the YouTube. Dylan is wearing a tiny little like banana hammock situation, is totally naked other than that, has very blonde hair, and is very much a man, parading his male body up there. You can see, now he's on a campaign to embrace the bulge. He's wearing those same bottoms, but a bikini top with fake boobs, and saying we as women need to get comfortable with people like him wearing fake boobs and the bulge down below because that's normal. That's one. Then here's Dylan a few years ago announcing not that Dylan was a woman, but that Dylan was now non-binary. Watch this.
I'm Dylan. Today is my birthday, and I'm throwing a gender reveal party. And no, I'm not pregnant. It's for myself. I'm non-binary. I'm dropping the he, and my new pronouns are they, them, theirs.
Okay. That lasted for about 2 minutes before Dylan said, oh, now I'm a she. By the way, credit to Ollie London, who's a great follow on Twitter for all of this. Ollie's been such a great activist on all of this and keeps us all informed on the craziness that's out there. And now Dylan is officially a she. And if you don't say she, you're a bigot, you're a transphobe. Yeah. I mean, we've all seen the Price is Right video. Dylan was dying for attention. Dylan wanted us to pay attention to Dylan.
I think the majority of people that are trans, that say they have gender dysphoria and whatnot, there's something wrong with them as far as mentally. There's something going on. There's some kind of a mental or spiritual battle going on within them. You know, again, you're born the way you're born. You're born the way you're born. And in no way am I talking bad about Bruce or Caitlyn Jenner or whatever. In no way. Again, man, this is not about hating anyone. It's about understanding that people like this, like Dylan, like Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, you know, there's something going on there. Again, there's something going on. They're not right. And I'm not hating on Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, whatever. And I'm sorry, man, I have a hard time saying Caitlyn Jenner, not because I don't want to, but because I grew up, that was Bruce Jenner. That he was an athlete. He was, you know, on the Wheaties box. And now he's, yeah. So, you know, again, man, I'm not making fun of him in any way. I just believe there's something wrong with him. You know, something mentally wrong. Again, I think pretty much all trans people, there's something going on up here. There's something going on spiritual. There's something going on within them. Not that they were born into the wrong body. And not that getting operations or whatever will help them. I don't think it's going to help anyone, to be honest with you. Again, people can say, well, it helped me, you know, I am post-op or whatever. Yeah, it helped you in the same way that a flashy new car, you know, helps you. You know, it's superficial. You know, it's like putting siding on a house. You know, it's superficial. You got the good feeling because, you know what, it's different. It's a different look. A different place where you are. You feel like you can walk around in the opposite gender's, you know, clothing or whatever. I mean, again, it's an external solution to a problem that is internal. So, you know, again, people can say whatever it is they want to say. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a mental or spiritual. I think, honestly, man, I think it's a spiritual issue. There's something going on. But, I mean, that's my 2 cents. So, no, I don't agree with that. Even people like Bruce Jenner, man, they're truly better off the way. I don't believe that. Again, man, you know, Bruce can say or Caitlyn can say, well, I feel this way and I feel this way. You know, I feel that I'm better off this way. And I'm sure they do. Because, again, there's something wrong. There's something going on within them. So, again, if they change the external appearance, you know, they give them a sense of satisfaction to a degree. But, you know, again, that's my 2 cents. But, hey, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.